You're watching TRTS Clips, a clip-sized content playlist that encloses experiences and stories of some of the most amazing, intellectually sound people from different walks of life. You enjoy this particular clip and don't forget to check out the entire playlist. If you like it, please support us by sharing it. Now, without further ado, the guest is all yours.
Do you see a way or certain measures or methods to actually educate people or quite make them intrigue about these concepts? Do you find a way of doing this and helping out the people? Because after all, when people start accepting this technology or this concept of decentralization or whatever it may be, anything which is disruptive for the time, how do you think can people actually get to know and get to educate themselves about such kind of concepts when that's
Right.
something very new for them?
No, definitely. So I think the most important thing which we can definitely do is to talk about it, right? Like what we are doing right now. Is to, just generally have this open-ended conversation and talk about, what decentralization is, how one needs to think about decentralization, some of the, pros and cons of it. Also, I do feel that, like I was telling you that to a large extent, a lot of information is already out there, in the public domain about this, on YouTube videos from some, people who have very good understanding of this technology and have talked about it, to, courses which are now available. So to a large extent, this is already there. But I think this dialogue of people, we need to start openly discussing this new way of thinking. And, and it's just only through this kind of public discussion will, we really figure out what the pitfalls are, what the advantages are, and then maybe try and figure out, what is the best way forward. Like one of the ways which you mentioned, where, you have decentralized decision making, but you also have centralized decision making together, which leads to, let's say, the best decision which you can take, right? So I think what's most important is open discussions about this. I have been trying to sort of talk to lots of people, and I know a lot of other experts and sort of other people in the blockchain industry, far more influential than I am, are also going on public forums and talking about this. Currently, the easiest way to get people interested in this technology is to tell them that Bitcoin, you can make a lot of money. Oh, really? What is this Bitcoin? Like, hands down, the most popular way of getting people interested in this technology. But you can 10x your wealth. Like, what really?
Actually, that's quite fascinating, because a lot of people actually go for Bitcoin first, and then they come to know that something sort of blockchain also exists, and that's the main thing on which Bitcoin is existing. But they don't know about it. It's just the Bitcoin hype.
I know, right? I was very against this, like, this kind of, like, this is not the way I would like to educate people. Exactly. I would like to educate people like this, where first I talk about decentralization, then I talk about blockchain. But, there's no perfect solution out there. So, if people say, what is decentralization, etc., do you want to make money? Like, and then you kind of, no, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't, go down that path. But I do feel that, yes, like, what has happened is this whole conversation about Bitcoin, about Tesla investing in Bitcoin. $1.5 billion, no less, and more centralized, sort of, I would say, like, typical, financial sort of companies from Wall Street and, other investment banks are now seriously looking at, investing in this technology. I think this already has created a huge amount of interest. And, financial incentives are a very strong motivator, no doubt. So whatever works, I feel that, as long as more and more people have this open discourse, that will lead to sort of, more understanding in the world about, how you can think about this concept. And and I do feel that that eventually it will come to a point where, people will focus more on sort of the decentralization and the advantages of that versus which crypto should I buy? Please tell me. Like, so we need to kind of maybe, step away from that kind of discourse.
Exactly.
So,